Hi, and welcome to the Floyd Family Farm. As you know, we've been working on our container home, but first we started out on Tanya's she shed, which is out here by her garden. It's a space that she wanted so she could have somewhere to sit and chill when she gets tired of working in her garden. That way she didn't have to walk 200 feet over to the house. Yeah, I did say 200 feet. That's about how far away her shed is from the house, which is cool. Gives her space. Not to mention, if she gets mad at me, she'll just run over to her space, and then I'll come over here and sweet talk her and get her out. Anyway, moving on to what we got going on. So we got the windows in the container, all three of them. We got them sealed in there. We got them. We put the little goo between the windows and the frame, the silicone, and then after that dried and we screwed everything in, welded the frame in, we went ahead and put some spray foam insulation around those edges also. So what that's gonna do is, even though we put silicone on the outside, what the spray foam will do is, as it expands, if there's a hole in the silicone on the outside where we didn't quite get it over it, it's gonna stick out. It's gonna be a little telltale sign that we maybe didn't do so good of a job with the silicone. But what it will also do is it'll fill in that gap that we didn't see with the silicone. We're not worried about the silicone and the discoloration of that, because when we get around to painting the container, that whole area is going to get painted, so no one will know the difference other than if we experience a water leak. But that's not likely to happen as well, because when we get ready to insulate, we'll be spray foaming the inside of this container. So that's going to block out any moisture, going to provide us that added protection for insulation, you know, with this Texas heat, and then everything will be all fine. But one issue we had was with the door. So we cut the door. The rough cut was 37.5 inches, which is what we cut, and we slid the window into the frame. Everything fit in, but it was just so snug until it didn't give any leeway for play, and so our door itself is a little off, and it appears to be off inside of its own frame anyway. However, I don't want to make adjustment. I don't want to weld the frame to the door, to the container, and then try to put shims under the door, and then the crap still doesn't give any. So we took the frame out of it, and then we're gonna widen it by like a little more than, probably right at a ½ an inch. It'll give us a 1/4 inch play on either side, where before it was all nice and snug and had no play. So even though there will be a little bit of a gap between the angle iron and the frame of the door, that's something that we can also fill in with spray foam, and then we'll wind up putting trim around the door. Just like any other house, the rough cut is always a little bit bigger than the door. You can slide it in. There's always that little bit of gap. If you've ever done any trim around the house, you know what I'm talking about. You pull it off because you want to paint, and you're like, oh my God, there's a big ass gap between the door frame and the framing of the house. And you look in there, most of the time it's filled in with some kind of spray foam, or in a house for insulation. In cases like that, usually filled in with nothing, in which case the trim is just used as a barrier to provide that insulation property, which is crap. But anyway, so we're gonna have that, and so I went ahead and recut, I took the frame out and I pulled it apart from the welds. Wasn't too hard. Doesn't need to be too structurally tight, because once it's in, it's gonna get welded to the container anyway. Well, I need for it to stay properly fitted. So we pulled it out. I cut me a piece that was 38 and kind of an eighth. I cut it right at 38. Then when I put it down and looked at it, the inside was a little smaller than 38, which was too close to 37.5, which wasn't going to give me the plate I needed. So instead of having the side angle iron tucked up under the top, I pulled it out to the side to where it's on the edge. And what that'll do is they'll give me that little corner gap that's like this. And instead of having to weld two pieces together like this, I'll take that little angle that I have, that gap, and I'll fill that in with the flux. Let me flip this around so I'll show you what I'm talking about. See, right here, normally I would have this piece sitting up under here, and then I have to weld, because it's all tight, I have to weld it together and put some flux on that and create metal while I'm melting it, which leaves a kind of a bumpy edge, and then I have to shave it down, which then thins the weld. So I brought it out to the corners like this. So now I got this whole little gap right here to fill in. And plus, sliding it out gives me the additional width between this and the door frame. That gives me about a 1/4 inch on each side that I'm needing to have play with the door. if you get what I'm saying. So this gives me this whole area right here I can fill in, you know, with my MIG welder. Booyah. Thanks, Bob Clark. My co-worker, I got TIG and ARC, but he has a MIG, so I borrowed it. So we'll fill that in there. Yeah, I'm about to bust my ass. And then, and then we'll go over here and we'll do the same on this side. We'll fill this in. Once I'm done with that, then I'll go back inside the container where I kind of mark the width, the door width that needs to be cut wider. And what I did was I marked it with a Sharpie, and because it's so hard to see the Sharpie at certain times of the day, because I'm not going to cut in there right now, I'll wait till the sun kind of goes on the back side of this thing. And I got my shop fan in there, and then but I used some metallic tape. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, this is our door right here, and let me zoom out here. And it's 37.5 inches rough cut, and it was a nice little fit. And then right inside of here, this isn't quite straight on all sides, but that's okay, because you can fill that in, and then we put trim. But it's a little too narrow. It does fit, but I need that additional plate. So what I did was I marked this side over here with a Sharpie, and because those lines tend to disappear or blur whenever you're cutting, I put this little foil tape up here, and what I'll do is I'll wind up cutting just on the side of this foil tape. That gives me something to see for my 53-year-old eyes, so I don't have to try to visualize a line. The reason for the plastic is because we hadn't sealed around the door, and we thought it was going to rain a few days ago, which it didn't. Thanks, weatherman, for the inaccurate weather forecast. And once again, don't know how you keep your job. But, hey, it's neither here nor there. So that's what we got working with that. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get my welder together, get my safety gear, because safety's first. Got to have my glasses. I'm looking for my welding glasses because my automatic lens batteries went out on my helmet. But if I don't find my welding glasses that I'll put up under my helmet, then I'll stop being cheap and take my butt to the store and get me a couple of batteries for this thing. And then I'll put on all my protective gear, gloves, helmet, mask, shirt, things of that nature, which you absolutely need when you're welding, because you do get a little splatter. You are looking close at this weld so you can see the puddle, and you want to make sure that you got a proper weld. Hey, I'm no professional. I've been watching Tim weld. He's a guy that has some classes on welding. I'll put a link in the YouTube page. I'm not getting paid by him, but if you plan on doing some welding, the guy's giving me some great advice and tips on how to take care of my welds that at times I'm looking like SHIT. Well, like I say, I'm a novice. It's my first time doing this kind of stuff. But behind me, quickly, you can see the inside of the container. We've done a lot of framing up. And the last that we got to frame really is this area right here in the ceiling. This is the bedroom area. And then around that window. And then we'll move on. You can see I got plugs here, there. And so the next video will be of me planning out the electrical system and the plumbing. So you can see how all that's put together, or you can see how it's mapped out. And then once I map it out with the short video, I'll come back with another video of me actually doing the project. And I'll post this video right now so you guys can follow up with me in a few minutes. Talk to you later. Thanks for checking in the Florida Family Forum. All right, now that we got this thing cut out, let me go get the angle on and see how this thing fits. Okay, call. Hey, welcome back. All right, so we got the door in. Well, we did the cutting for the frame for the door. We did widen it. I did cut it. I think I got like a super speed video. I really hate using the angle grinder. Maybe I need to get me one with a 7-inch blade on it or something like that, because this little 4.5-inch joker is just, it's a pain in the ass. But it did get the job done, and it did cut a pretty straight line using the tape. So here's kind of what I got. So we widened the frame on this thing, and I got a couple of little spot welds in. One or two of them look good. Some of the rest of them look like crap, which means I still need to practice on this. So there's a little tack weld right there. There's a little spot one right there. Here, I need to knock the slag off. And then there's another one down here. Got a couple more on this side that really look like total crap. But they're holding. I'll grind them down. That one is fairly decent. And then the other ones look like the rookie that I am. So I ain't gonna show them to you because I need to knock them off and then fill them in again. This one is, I was trying to get the little layers going. It's a work in progress, I'll tell you. So right now I got about 4 good welds in this thing. I did them on the inside just because I needed to hold this thing, and because it is extremely dry. And hell, we set the grass on fire 20 feet from this thing just when I was using the angle grinder. I had Tonyas outside on fire watch, and then you know, there's no distance that these things won't travel to set something on fire. You see that spot over there? That's about 16, 17 feet away, and that's when I was grinding on the inside. So far so good with that. Now, with the gap that we have in place that we talked about earlier, we got the spacing that we need. We're gonna shim it up. Well, actually, I gotta pull it back out because I got a little small piece that I cut out on the lip. So I got like this little, about 1.5 inch gap. So I gotta get my my saw, my metal saw, and I gotta get some of my flat steel. I'll get a piece of angle iron. I gotta cut it. So there you have it. I'll check back in with you later.